Hello again everybody, and welcome to a mission in the F-86 Sabre called All Aboard. Now this is part of a preview of the Museum Relics Campaign by Apache 600, in which I'm going to fly an F-86 mission and a MiG-15 mission. I'm going to break this up into two different formats. You'll probably already seen at this point a very summarized version of this mission, presented sort of as an overview of the campaign itself. It's intended for a completely different audience from the type of like-minded folks who watch the full mission playthroughs, but that is available if you're looking for just a brief overview. And for this, I'm going to go through the entire process, starting with mission planning. So we're jumping sort of into the middle of the campaign. I'm not sure exactly what the context is as far as what's happened before. We'll get that once the campaign is released. So I'm going to skip some of the backstory that's available here in the briefing package and just get basically into the mission itself. But I guess just for a little bit of context, we're going to be flying the F-86 and the MiG-15, but be supported by modern aircraft and modern systems. And on this flight specifically, I'm going to be supported by two Tornado GR4s, providing suppression of enemy air defenses as we go in our single F-86, striking two targets. And, you know, for me personally, yeah, that works fine. I think under the constraints of the current DCS setup, there just aren't enough units there to have a full-blown 50s or even early 60s scenario, and I guess I understand the concept behind this and why it would need to be set up this way. So let me get straight into the mission planning here. It's a 0925 start, so it's going to be morning, and basically it's NATO versus Russia. And looking through the briefing materials, we have an overview map right here that shows the front lines right there on the Inguri River, with the target area just on the other side to the south and west of Zugdidi. And additionally, we have some target imagery giving us an idea of how this is going to look as we approach it, with rail bridges on the river that I'll be looking for and trying to pick out as we go in the town itself. So actually, let me sort of augment this by going to the mission planner and just comparing how that looks to what we see here in more sort of a traditional look. Okay, so Sukhumi, it's going to be just basically down the coast to Gali. I could use the 525 kilohertz NDB for guidance in the F-86 if I needed to. I don't think I'm going to need or want to do that. It's going to be clear weather, and I'll be able to pick out the reservoir, the hill right here by Gali, the town itself, that's where I'll be holding over, and then turn to the southeast over the river to the town of Zugdidi itself. So like we had on the imagery, I'm going to have two bridges, one to the north and one to the south, that I'll be using as a reference. Or actually, here is the north bridge that we were just looking at. Here's the southern bridge. Yeah, exactly like we see in this image right here. So the next image we have, okay, there are the southern bridges and then the target area. And the target itself, okay, primary target, yep, again is a train station. Secondary target is down here to the south and to the, I think that's southwest actually, as this image is oriented. And that's what the primary target itself looks like. And yeah, then we get into some more navigation info. So yeah, again, as we approach, I just need to be on the lookout for the bridges, and I'll be able to pick out, yeah, this big, see this big sort of sandbar, or I guess little island in the middle of the river, right there with the village or town on it. So that will get me onto the right area to look for the bridges. Then I pick out the southern bridges, and then it's basically looking like I just follow it straight on down to the primary target. That's what I'm going to plan on. That'll put me exactly in line with the targets, and I'm assuming these are sort of like train cars, or yeah, coaches and a locomotive right there. So I want to run in line with those, and I think it's just going to be as simple as following the rail straight on down. Okay, and then if I do happen to take this out, I'm going to take up rockets on this mission. It's a good setup for this type of target. If I take that out, then I have, let me see, structures, outposts, but in either case, yeah, this is the location, at least, of the secondary target up there to the north and to the, slightly to the west. So let's see, additional briefing materials. Okay, flight plan is laid out here, and this is kind of a neat format. I've been looking at this and deciphering a lot of it as we go. We have the altimeter setting, the airport frequency, channel 2, departure runway is runway 12. It's an 11,000 foot runway, so plenty, more than ample for an F-86. And then surface winds 120 at 10. Then en route up to our first waypoint, that holding area at Gali. So I have 525 for the NDB. That's a heading of 114 for 20 miles, looking for an airspeed of 320 knots. And I have in the notes, link up with the tornadoes and hold over Gali until all clear. So that's sounding like a good enough plan to me. And then from galley. Okay, it's going to be a heading of 150 for 8 nautical miles. And just, yeah, like I was saying, follow the railroad, and that'll take me straight to it. Okay, then once I hit the target, it's going to be back up the coast, heading 330 for 38 miles, and it just tells me here to head directly back to Sukhumi. And then back at Sukhumi, the airport frequency is channel 2, landing on runway 12 again, long runway 12010 for surface winds. So yeah, this is actually a very neat format. So let's see here. That is about all the planning that I think I need. This seems like it's going to be a fairly simple mission. And again, the loadout that I'm taking up is going to be just wall-to-wall rockets. Now, checking the radio setup, and I'm trying to remember all of this F-86 stuff that I need to remember. My flight frequency isn't going to matter since it's just me, but the airport frequency was channel 2, and just to verify, okay, Sukhumi is 258 megahertz, so if I come to my radio tab, yeah, 258 is set up as channel 2 on my UHF radio. So this is straightforward enough. I think I have everything that I need here. I will study the map a little bit more so that I know exactly what I'm looking at and exactly what I'm looking for once I get into the target area. But for now, I'm going to step to the aircraft and get this mission going. Okay, we're unpaused on the ramp at Sukhumi. Let me go ahead and get some ground power on the aircraft so we can get through the startup procedure. So F2, F1. Okay, got some trucks moving around. C-130 off to my right. F-16's parked out there to the left. Okay, once I get ground power, okay, there we go. Just kicked in. Then we go engine master on, starter momentarily, and then battery on, and then I just wait for a 3% RPM. Okay, it's up through about 2.5, then I pull my throttle outboard. Okay, throttle outboard, that kicks in the fuel pump. 6% throttle, creep it up to idle. Okay, EGT is going to peak, but that's not going to get much further up, and that's going to settle back down. Fuel flow is coming up. Oil pressure is, yeah, I can see it wavering there coming off the peg. I'm just going to wait for the RPMs to build up and then remove the ground power. Okay, so looking around, DCS is configured. Okay, rocket intervalometer starting on 1. I've got all 16 rockets on. Okay, let's see. Everything else, okay, guns, I'll wait until I'm airborne. Fuel tanks, I'm not going to configure since I don't have any tanks. Okay, let me go ahead and get external power off. F8, F2, F2. And then we'll be checking that the generator light stays off. Let me see, compass. Let's see, I'm pointing about 160. That corresponds, yeah, about 165 or so. Yeah, that's where it's at. That corresponds to my magnetic compass up there. Okay, I've got my light on. Let me advance the throttle just slightly to get some more RPMs built up. And that's going to get the generator running at full capacity and the light goes off. Okay, that's just fine. Okay, I'm not going to do any radio navigation. Let's go for transmit receive on UHF and channel, okay, standby. Okay, sounds good. So the tornadoes are airborne. I'll go to channel 2 and call for taxi. So F5, Sukhumi, okay, startup, and then taxi. Okay, let me go ahead and do my flight control check. Let's go for reset, norm. Okay, clear for startup. Let's request taxi. Okay, and hydraulic pressure is going to get back into the green within 5 seconds. That's a good check. Let's go for alternate. Alternate light is on. Flight control check. Checking freedom of movement and correct movement for all surfaces, and then the pressure is going to take a while to build back up. So I'll wait for that. I'll go reset norm, light off. Utility check. Okay, for this, let me go ahead and extend my speed brakes. Okay, let me go ahead and retract them. Pressure comes down. Switch back to the center position. Pressure comes back up. And alternate system is still building up pressure. I'll wait for that to get into the green before I press on. Okay, everything else I think is configured. I was clear for taxi. Let me go back to channel 1. Okay, I'll get the rest of the armament set up once I'm airborne. Okay, good green on alternate, norm, and utility. And go ahead and get the canopy. And we'll get on the taxi. So, okay, so let's go ahead and do this. Okay, chocks out. Just need to remember, okay, noseable steering button if I want to use the noseable steering system. Okay, so advance the throttle slowly. Now check the brakes, look good. Button to press. And off to the right. Okay, so let's see here. I'm going to, yeah, the coast is going to be in front of me. I want to take off from my right to left based on the wind conditions. Okay, I got a sand battery and a Chinook out there in front of me too. Okay, this is good right here. I'll just go around the cockpit one more time. It has been a while, so, okay, oxygen. Okay, oxygen valve on, and it's in the, yeah, switch is in the norm position. Yeah, there's the switch in the norm position. That's looking fine.
Tornadoes are 10 miles outside of Sukumi. Relic 1, get airborne soon if you're not already. We'll be over the top of the airport in approximately 2 minutes, so form up with us then.
Okay, so let me go ahead and stow the comms menu. I'll go back to, yeah, I'm back on channel 1, and I'm not even going to bother calling for takeoff clearance. Okay, flaps. Okay, yeah, let me go ahead and lower the flaps. Get them set for takeoff, and once they're lowered, I can barely see it out there over the railing. I'm going to recenter the flap lever, and that's just going to relieve the pressure from the actuator and the lines. Okay, nose wheel steering, actually brake a little bit, and then nose wheel steering button. It's going to take me around to the left and to the runway. Got a little AAA side right there. That's cool. Okay, so we'll come around here, and then on the lineup, I'm just going to hold brakes, run it up, and look for about anywhere from about 90 to 100. Pull the nose gear up, or the nose wheel off the runway. That'll put me into like a little takeoff attitude, and then fly it off once I'm about 120, 125 or so. Okay, so lined up, let me just go ahead and center the rudder up, release the nose wheel steering button, hold brakes.
Tornadoes are overhead of the Sukumi airfield at 6,000 feet. Relic 1, form up on us. We're going to fire off a few seconds worth of signal flares to show you where we are.
Okay, gotcha. Yeah, very cool. There they are. Firing off flares. Got green on the left, red on the right. Okay, good timing.
If you need another round of signal flares, just ask.
Okay, nice. Okay, F10 comms menu will do that for me. Okay, let's go ahead and release brakes. Kick it over to the right a little bit. Oh boy. I guess I don't know. I'll have to check on the external to see if my nose gear was centered up or not. Just then, boy, that was terrible. That didn't behave at all like I was expecting right there, but that's okay. It's all good now. Let's go ahead and pull the nose wheel off. Just hold it right there in the takeoff attitude. Okay, up through actually 150. Yeah, I was a little bit late getting the aircraft airborne right there. Let's go gear up. Just going to trim nose down. Let me pull my flaps up. And pull the throttle on back a little bit, because I don't need to have it maxed out and get up there into that non-ideal temperature range. Okay, then the coast all the way up to galley. A little bit slower on the trim response than I was used to. Okay, so there we go. Got it trimmed out for a climb right now. Okay, let me do that. Let me go ahead and go to the F10 comms menu. So let me go for the microphone button again. F10. And more flares, please.
Alright, firing round 2.
Okay, there they are. They're just a little bit out in front of me. That's fine.
All out of spotting flares. If you haven't spotted us already, proceed to galley and wait for us there. Don't go past the city though. We're already starting to pick up enemy SAM hits.
Okay, sounds good. So let me see. You got gear up, flaps up, speed brakes. Yeah, just verify they're retracted. Good hydraulic pressures, good engine instruments. Yeah, I'm right there on that little line. Now I'll pull it back just a touch to get it off of the red line right there. You can go above that for about 40 seconds if you need to, but I'll pull it just past that line. Okay, everything else is looking just fine. Oil pressures, comm setup. Okay, let's go ahead and start to think about where we are in the world. I'm looking for the Nguri River, the mouth of the river out there, and that's right there. So I followed this up to Zugdidi. That'll be, yeah, right there on this side of the hill. It's sort of awkward right now with the climb angle. Let me get into a little bit less of a climb. Okay, and I've got time to relax here for just a minute. Okay, let me go ahead and, while I've got time, it's not going to last for long because I'm coming up quickly on the area I need to worry about. Okay, I'm going to go to the rocket gun correction setting. I'm going to go, and I'm going to do something a little bit different here. Instead of going to the rocket setting, I'm going to go to the bomb setting. It'll make sense once I explain what I'm going to try to accomplish here. I'm going to go to the auto setting on the rocket switch. So now with this setup, when I depress and hold the weapons release switch, rockets are going to fire at about a 10/10 of a second interval until I release the switch. Now the reason I went to the bomb setting is that instead of the built-in rocket depression, I'm going to use the manual pip system. Actually, I need to go sight camera. I need to go to the guns position to have the guns up. I'm going to uncage it, and within this setting, it's just going to be electrically sort of caged, and then I'm going to use the dial here to dial in the depression angle of about 45 mils is what I'll go for, and I'll use that for sighting. I could have done something similar with the rocket function down here, using the dial to dial in a depression angle, but no, I just don't like using it like that. And actually, pilots in the time, well, it was sort of a mixed bag. A lot of people did not like at all the built-in rocket setting. That's why the manual pip system came about. Was the just drawbacks of the A4 sight on its own was not at all ideal. And I'm sure if you ever try to drop a bomb or fire the gun at a ground target or fire a rocket, you can probably understand that. Okay, so I've got the reservoir. Okay, they're taking out Sam. So I've got the reservoir right here. Got galley right here. That'd mean the Zugdidi. Okay, there's the river. I've got the island in the middle. There's the town. I've got the bridges. Okay, now let me go ahead and level up here. Okay, now, back out here. Okay, I've got the town. Okay, missile trail right below me. That was probably the tornadoes, actually. Okay, town right there. Okay, I've got what must be the secondary target right there. That'd mean the primary, yep, right up the rail is right there in those trees. I've got a ground unit right here where my cursor is. I've got a column on the road. And I can see some civilian traffic just barely out there beyond as well. Okay, that's fine. I'm over galley right now. Okay, gotcha. Yeah, that's exactly where I'm at. Okay, just got a hit on that little target I was looking at. I think that was one of the SAM sites. You look over here to the left. I've got nothing out here between the river and the town that I can see. Train right there. Okay, I've got the primary. That's right there. That's the little train depot. Primary target right there where my cursor is. Secondary target right down here to the right of that. Okay, that was way easier than I thought it would be. It's amazing. You know, if I were in the A10C right now with a whole lot of systems, it would have actually taken me longer, I bet, to find that than it did just looking out the cockpit just then. Okay, so let me come on around. I'm over galley. Okay, more smoke trails below me. You'll see on TACVIEW or an external view exactly what that was. I hope that, well, I don't have any, obviously, RWR detection gear or missile launch warning gear in an F-86. Hopefully that wasn't something on me, but I'm over where I'm supposed to be. So I'm not expecting to get taken out by anything long range as long as I stay here.
That's it. All SAM units have been destroyed. Relic 1, move in.
Okay, SAMs are down. I'm cleared in.